Come, come, whoever you are. We are all and each of us welcome here. You are welcome here. Your age, your size, the color of your eyes, the color of your hair or of your skin, all of you, inside and out, is welcome here. No matter your gender, whom you love, how you speak, or whatever your abilities, all of you is welcome here. You are welcome with laughter in your heart or tears in your eyes, whether you believe in God all of the time, some of the time, or none of the time. You are welcome here. Once I was a stranger here and found a deep welcome in my heart. It was glad. Each Sunday now it is renewed again and again. Together we are a community of open minds, loving hearts, and willing hands. Good morning and welcome to South Valley Unitarian Universalist Society. My name is Matthew. My pronouns are he, him. I am a tall, white man in a yellow shirt. Yeah, that's pretty good. And it is my privilege to serve as the worship associate for this morning's service. As we light our chalice, the symbol of our faith and the light of our commitments to love and justice, let us light this chalice. Those at home are invited to light a chalice and share in this ritual by entering "The chalice is lit" and the name of your street in the chat box on Zoom. Please join me in repeating our chalice lighting words and use our actions if you wish. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, for the light of truth, for the energy of action, and the flames of resistance.
Now you may be seated. All right, now I would like to invite all those who are young or young at heart to come and join me up in the front for a children's moment. All right. I'm going to ask you a very good question. And you can show by show of hands. And for adults, you can participate too. How many people have a name? How many people think they have a long name? How many people think they have a really short name? Okay. I want to invite you in front here. I want you to divide yourselves into halves. The longer name on this side, the shorter name on this side. And there's not going to be a test. And you can include your middle name and your last name and your nickname if you want. So if you have a long name, move over here. If you have a short name, move over there. You think 7 counts as long? I think 7 counts as long. What do you think?
I have a long name and a short name.
You have a long name and a short. You can sit in the middle because you can pick either way, right? Yeah. How many of you have a nickname? Do people who have long names often have nicknames? Yeah. Okay. Now, and this is only for the people who are here for the first time or if you're under the age of 14. What is my name? Lucy. You have a short name, Lucy? Yeah, Lucy is a short name. It has 4 letters in it. Etla. Yes, counting the word reverend.
Reverend Lora Young.
Perfect. I am the Reverend Lora Young. And I was away on a trip. I was on a sabbatical for a long time, so there are some new people in the room who might not know that I also have a nickname. I'm guessing people don't know what that nickname is. Yeah, I know, but don't tell the secret till the end. Leo, do you know the secret too? Rev Low is part of it. So here's how I got my nickname. It's actually from one of the people who grew up in this congregation. Their name is Annika, and I didn't know about my nickname for the longest time, but then they called me up one afternoon when we were downstairs, and they said, Rev Low. And I thought, oh, I have a nickname, it turns out. And it works for me because guess what my full name is now that I became your minister? The Reverend Lora Catherine Young. That's a really long name, right? I tested it one time, and if you do a yo-yo all the way to the ground, the yo-yo just lays on the floor. It's so long. So Rev Low is one of my nicknames, but there's also another nickname, and I think Etla was saying what it was. What is it? Yo-yo. Yo-yo. How many of you would like to just be able to call me yo-yo? Yeah. So if you're under the age of 14, you can call me yo-yo. Okay? The rest of you have to try it a little longer. So I just want to let you know that if this is your first time or your 100th time, and if you forget my name, you just think about yo-yos, and then you'll be able to find out what my name is. Yo-yo. Reverend Yo-Yo. Yeah.
Someone in my school is called Yo-Yo.
You have someone in your school named Yo-Yo? That's really unique. That's really unique. Okay. Anyone want to tell me what their nickname is before I let you down to your classes? Yes. Jenny. Jenny. MJ.
Brinley, Bryn, B.
Brinley, Bryn, B.
Those are my 3 names.
Your 3 nicknames. Okay. Anyone else want Max? W. Okay, W. Okay, yes.
I have a nickname called Jeannie and Gagné.
Jeannie and Jenny. Very good. And Tilbada. Tilda Toast. That's a really good nickname. I like that. We got that right. Okay. So off you go to your classes.
We are now so grateful to have Kaden announcing or giving us an announcement via Zoom.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kaden Colton, and I am a white, non-binary human. I am wearing a darker blue shirt today, and my pronouns are they, them. I am here with an exciting announcement. South Valley has recently been awarded a grant from the Unitarian Universalist funding program. The money we received will help us explore the barriers people have in when uh, they experience when connecting to and with religious communities like ours, uh, and developing programming to best meet their needs. Utah County and the southwest part of Salt Lake County are the current starting points that we will be focused on at this time. I will be leading this project, and I am super excited to be working with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Kaden. This community, our church, in its many ministries, are only made possible by the gifts you give of your time, your talent, and your treasure. Many of you pledge monthly to support our work, and for this we are grateful. Your gifts help to ensure that we are able to live our values of love and justice in the world outside. Part of our ministry at South Valley includes sharing our worship offerings with a charitable organization that aligns with our principles and values. This month's giving partner is Utah Community Action. Please join me in reading our offertory words. They are printed in your order of service. We are this church. We are its hands, its heart, its voice. Together we share the wealth of this community and sustain it with our gifts. We will now accept the offering. For those at home, you are invited to use the giving link in the order of service. I invite the ushers to come forward at this time.
For all we have found the courage to give, may we be truly grateful. May these gifts be a blessing on the many ministries of South Valley and on Utah Community Action. I'm going to invite you in a moment to participate in our ritual of joys and sorrows. It's been a few weeks since we have done this. So for those of you who are returning to this ritual or who are brand new to this ritual, it is a time for us to just acknowledge in community all that we share, whatever may be on our heart, be it something of great and deep joy or something that is troubling us. It is a time to deposit those in silence into a communal space and have them be held. So as we settle into this, I just invite you to put your feet on the ground and to settle and to join me in a moment of silent meditation. Silence be a balm on your heart. Invite you now to participate. We have two stations, one in the front and one in the back. You may approach either station and pause and put a rock in the water. I will be at the back, so if you'd like a hug, you can come see me in the back, and Matthew will be at the front, and he's also willing to give out hugs. They're not required, of course, only at your request. So. Two final stones into our bowl. The first is to represent all the joys and sorrows shared in our online community, ceremonially joining them in the chat box with those expressed here in this space. And a final stone for that which remains unspoken, but still experienced in the heart.
So I've got to pull out my phone because I didn't print this because I don't have a printer at home anymore. I don't know how many of you guys can feel that, but like if you don't have a kid with high school stuff, even then, I don't know, why would we have, who owns a printer? So I've got a couple of really cool UUs to share with you guys. I did some research into some neat UUs, and I did not know about any of these people prior to doing this research. Maybe you guys know about all of them, maybe you don't, but these are not like Thoreau and Emerson, like some people we already know, like, you know, the names that get tossed about. So there's one UU named James Reeb, a Unitarian Universalist minister and a civil rights activist who traveled to Selma, Alabama in 1965 in support of the voting rights movement. He participated in demonstrations alongside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and was murdered by white segregationists for daring to do so. His death galvanized national support for the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Then there was Viola Luizo, a Detroit-based UU and mother of 5, who answered Dr. King's call to come to Selma after Bloody Sunday. She drove marchers between Selma and Montgomery, and for this, the KKK murdered her. Her activism and death became powerful symbols in the civil rights movement. Then there's Theodore Parker, a 19th century Unitarian minister and transcendentalist, an outspoken abolitionist and social reformer. His sermons against slavery profoundly influenced Abraham Lincoln and Martin Luther King Jr., among others. He supported women's rights and educational reform. His phrase, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice," became one of the King's most famous quotes. And then Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, an African-American poet, lecturer, and activist, both a Unitarian and a founding member of the American Woman Suffrage Association. She fought for abolition, racial equality, and women's rights, using her writing and public speaking to challenge injustice and inspire reform. This leads me to many thoughts about how history impacts our current context. There's so much that I feel like I should be doing right now, and I don't necessarily know how to square that with the fact that I am not. These people are examples of times when doing something meant something. And I want to think that every time we do something means something. So the Reverend and I are actually going to sit and chat about how we might respond to the current context as a congregation. We're going to try this and see how it goes.
We'll pull a little forward for you. So part of what we've been talking about as a community for the last week and for the next couple of weeks is power. And what is power and how does it work? Who has it? Who doesn't? How do you get it? Is it something that you can bake up at home? The answer is yes. That's where all good social movements happen, starting in the kitchen, over conversation, over tea. And over the course of my travels this summer, I visited various different places, mostly in Europe. And one of the things that I was struck by is the history of justice work all throughout Europe. I stood at the top of the Italian Alps in the Dolomites in a town called Debussy, and had 1 foot in Austria and 1 foot in Italy, and thought about how that border has moved over the centuries, back and forth, until the people of Debussy don't really consider themselves to be Italians or Austrians. They consider themselves to be Debackians, but they speak a unique language that's only spoken in that in that village and in those surrounding villages. Also, I was in Ireland, which many of us are familiar with the very bloody history between the northern part of Ireland and the UK, and all of the turmoil and the bombings that happened in the 80s, and the amazing peace accords that finally came to fruition 30 years ago. And I was in a very small village called Doolin, which is sort of the capital of like music in Ireland, and was really struck that music was the foundation of their justice movement there. And so we're going to talk a little bit for a couple minutes, and we're going to open it up and see what thoughts you have if we have some time. So we'll try to be efficient. Yeah.
So I'm stuck on what you said about music, music being the foundation of their justice movement. I don't think music gets the credit for being as foundational to our justice movements as it is these days. Or maybe not these days necessarily, but as it has been in the past at the very least. And I think it has a very real potential to be that again. I think it's very I know that the NFL is one of the biggest corporations in the United States, and so them trying to be a little edgy is a little difficult to get my head around, but like putting Bad Bunny out there says a lot, I think, to me about what the current thought process is in some circles around music that could be considered, I don't know, revolutionary.
Mm-hmm. Our musicians have often spoken truth, and sometimes music can be the very thing that allows us to not just connect with each other, but to connect outside of ourselves as well. You shared a number of different Unitarian Universalist people who have been active in our movement, and I know that there are others in this congregation that are familiar with other sort of UU heroes and UU martyrs and that type of thing. And one of the things that I have noticed is that for such a small religious faith, I mean, really, compared to, say, like the Catholics, we have had an outsized influence in American culture. And the Transcendentalists are one of the most sort of well-known aspects of Unitarianism, though some of you might not know that the Transcendentalists were Unitarians. Emerson and Thoreau and Walt Whitman and many of the others were Unitarians, and they were trying to respond to a stagnation they felt that was happening in the Christian church at that time. And they were kicked out of the Unitarian movement for a long time. And they were quite recently, welcomed back in. So we have this long history of people speaking truth to power, both to powers that be in governments, but also to the powers that be within our denomination. What moved you about learning about some of this history?
What moved me? Well, I think I want to say for a moment, like up front, that it reminded me that you don't have to be a martyr to do something good, to be remembered. But a lot of times the people that do good do end up dead. It's a danger. It's like fighting for rights is dangerous. Fighting for what you think you deserve is hard. And it's not always, it's never easy. It's never simple. But it does come with costs. People go to protests and don't come back alive sometimes, like cops murder people. I have a very hard time with seeing what a peaceful protest that gets attacked by what looks like the Gestapo turns into these days. So I know you asked me what moved me, and I'm moved to think about the people that have been martyred for things that they believe in, the people that have been killed by the state or by the apparatus of the state or by the apparatus of the patriarchy. I'm moved to think about the sacrifice that they gave.
And so hopefully none of us will ever have to pay that price. Let me just say that right out. We're not going there as a congregation. But I think we have to, especially in this current context, we have to remember that democracy in and itself is a radical idea. Democracy is a radical idea, the idea that you can govern yourself, that you can be free as a people, that you have the freedom to protest, to assemble, to practice the religion of your own choosing, to choose to believe in God or not believe in God. And that's sort of the purpose of our welcoming words, but it's also the foundation of our principles and our purposes as an organization. And I think for at least for me growing up, in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, I sort of took these things for granted because we had a relatively stable democracy. And that was partly because that was true, but also partly because of my social location, being white and educated and a citizen and all of that, protects me or has protected me from experiencing the edges where democracy has broken down in this country. And I just wanted to sort of bring this to the congregation and remind us and invite us to speak the truth about what we're experiencing right now. That might not seem like it's a topic for church on a Sunday morning, but power is what happens in politics. Politics is how power moves through society. And so as a religious entity, as a faith-based tradition with a strong commitment to love and justice and mercy and kindness and interconnectedness, we have to also recognize that those things require us to show up in unique ways, in ways that maybe we haven't had to in the past decades as a congregation. And so I want to kind of open that up to the congregation. And we have a couple people who are willing to be runners and have some microphones. And if you have something on your heart and you want to sort of bring it to the congregation, keep your comment short. We don't have time for 15 minutes each person, but I'd like to hear what you have to say about how you want this congregation to respond and what you think is important right now. And please tell your name before you start speaking.
This is Tara Briggs, and I guess my biggest worry is people who come here and they would love to come here legally, but it doesn't always work out that way. And they're the backbone of our economy, and they do the jobs we don't want to do, and they work so hard. And what can we do to help them stay and not get deported? It's just so terrifying.
My name is Peter Verskor. I saw a documentary about Jane Goodall, who lived with animals and especially chimpanzees in Africa her whole life mostly. And she is, there is a Netflix show that lasts about 1 hour, her last interview. It's called Famous Last Words. And what she said is when you talk to politicians and government, you cannot get through to them by appealing to their mind. You have to appeal to their hearts. And so I thought about that, and I wrote a letter and tried that.
I'm Cindy Conlon, and talking about music and also talking about appealing to someone's heart the thought came to me that perhaps we could offer a concert series here, use our space, our building, to have a place where musicians who do protest songs or other songs that might touch people's heart could come, and we could invite neighbors and other people beyond the community and maybe in some way influence our local neighbors.
Hi, my name is Emily. I'm really new here, but I wanted to say that I think we have immense power as people in a community and people who have the ability to learn and help our neighbors. And I think right now, as a lot of people's SNAP benefits are about to be cut, that we should work together as a community to teach each other about how to create easy and affordable meals for families. And also offer our time and resources to give food to those in need and teach those about how to create easy meals and stretch things out.
Hi, I'm Natalie Cole, and I kind of want to, that was a great comment, it made me think, as a public school teacher, I do want to let everyone know that a lot of public schools have pantries and places where students and families that are part of that school can go for resources and help. I teach primarily immigrants, and I know like my students always use that resource, and a lot of families that are struggling right now, no matter who, they use that resource. So consider obviously food banks and other places, but local school, public schools also have that need. So.
Hi, yeah, I was going to address the SNAP thing too. I don't know if we could make a food drive here, do something like that. We've done awesome with that before, and so that's already been said. And I'm a musician who writes protest music, so you guys, a lot of you have heard one of the songs, but I have a few more songs I need to release, but I am totally down, so.
Hi, I'm Laura Renshaw. I love all the ideas that everybody's sharing. I have a couple of thoughts that I want to share, although they're not like things that I think we should do, because I'm still trying to figure it all out too. I just want to say that our oldest kid is a trans kid, and it's so scary right now, really scary. Like, we're kind of struggling with, our kiddo wants to come home for Christmas and can't because they don't feel comfortable to fly. And so that's directly impacting us, like the unsafeness that trans people feel right now. Whatever we might put our heads together and think of how we can provide some safety there. And second of all, I wanted to say that I occasionally call my reps. I occasionally email my reps. I feel like I should be doing all of them every day. It feels so pointless because sometimes you get a letter back that tells you they don't care or they're not going to do what you want anyway. But I feel guilty that I'm not reaching out to them more. And I was thinking, if we had sort of regular get-togethers here where we all do it together, like call together, write together, I'd probably be more likely to do. I'm always more likely to do something if I have somebody to do it with.
Sounds like a great auction item.
I have a few from the online community. Nick, I want to go to protests and add my voice, but with my anxiety, I don't do well in large crowds. I would love to know other ways I could help and speak out. Sutton said, please find simple ways to show support of public school teachers who are trying to find ways to show support of students right now, and finding that to be a radical and risky thing. Beth Ellen, I love the idea of gatherings to sing and develop protest songs that can be offered up at protests in the Valley. Would love to join this effort. Kaden says, I was thinking of Miss Major and the legacy she created. One of the things she did was to create a place where Black trans people can rest. It would be nice to have a space and time to rest to trans people at the margins.
My name's Kevin Alvey. I think it's time that we show the few people with a lot of money that think they can tell us how to live that we have power, and that is to stop giving them our money. We have to stop shopping at stores that are promoting what we are fighting against. And it's going to be coming, when there's a national strike against buying anything, we need to hold strong and show them that we, the people, do have power.
So I was thinking this week about, I had to take the ethics test for teachers again, and if you aren't aware, there's somebody trying to pass a law that puts like another 1,500 requirements on things teachers cannot do, which is exhausting because any one of them is a fireable offense. And so I was thinking that maybe we need to work with our interfaith community to make a citizens referendum that anything that teachers have to abide by in an ethics code, politicians have to abide by in an ethics code.
Hi, my name is Leonard. I've been coming kind of sporadically since the 90s to this church, but the thing that's on my mind is Thanksgiving coming up. I actually have a trans-identified parent, trans woman that immigrated to another country because she no longer feels safe here in Utah, where she lived her whole life. And that's really sad to me. That was actually my sorrow. I'm joyous that she made it there safe. I'm glad that she has the ability to do it. But she's among the people I can't spend Thanksgiving with because I don't have the money to travel to her new country. And so I have to be a part of maybe helping people trans-identified people being safe, because there's a lot of people who can't do that. Thank you.
Hi, I'm April, and I wanted to say for people who want to call but don't feel like they can, there's this website called 5 Calls where you put in your address and it pulls up your representatives, it pulls your senators, I guess it's 1 representative, 2 senators, whatever. Anyway, so I use it every single day, and it's annoying, but I always call after hours, so that way I know I'm leaving a voicemail and no one's gonna pick up. So that's really helpful for me who hates making phone calls. I'm calling the Washington, D.C. office at like 1 a.m. every single day. But if people want to call, look up 5 Calls. They have pre-written scripts, or they have like an option where you just pick and you can write your own script. I've written my own scripts, and it makes it so much easier to call. So if people want to call, just 5 Calls. Yeah.
I would like to, since Thanksgiving is coming up and then Christmas when we have, buying times, it would be really nice if we had some kind of a list of, if you knew of companies, because when we were at the protest last week, there was, a person was saying about, T-Mobile and different ones that were problematic, different corporations that were problematic, and that they were trying to encourage you not to support. So it would be really nice if there was, if we could have a list of, a corporation, and then like why it was, what it was making it, problematic to support, so that people could choose to give their money to somebody.
This is the last one.
Okay, so hi everyone, I'm James. I was actually looking a little bit at the recent UU World magazine, which I was happy to receive, and something stood out to me in it about your congregations can be a place where you are creating the world that you want, and a place of hope and joy and celebrating love, celebrating life. And there's a lot, I think it's really important that we acknowledge the challenging, scary, unhappy stuff going on in the world and how we can help to address it. I am inspired by everyone's activism here. But also, this is a place where we gather, and I really feel it, like it's a celebrative kind of community where people, we're starting to create the thing that we want right here.
Okay, all right, board president, you heard the last word.
Board president privilege.
Taking some liberties here. All right. I'm Brian Devink. I'm the president of your board. I just want to say thank you, everybody, for being here, being part of this community. It is inspiring to hear everybody who talked and everybody who thought the things in their brains just now. We have a board retreat this weekend where we will discuss how we can take action. So thank you I was writing down ideas, what the energy was like, all those sorts of things. So thank you.
Yeah, that was my gift to you, Brian. So we don't have to plan as much for this weekend. We already know exactly what is on your minds. Thank you so much for participating in that, because the heart of Unitarian Universalism really is a foundation in democracy. We are the ones that we've been waiting for, and we help each other, and we connect with each other, and that's what makes this community sacred and holy. Not some God that is far away or underneath us or around us, though that might be true for some of us. We're holy and we're sacred because we choose to be together as a community. And I think that's the only thing that I have found in all of my studies and in all of my time with this congregation and as a congregant in other UU congregations that actually makes the difference. That community is what makes the difference. Together we have so much power, and all of you named that so much and so eloquently. And I'm going to invite us now just to sing our closing hymn, Now Let Us Sing. We practiced it at the beginning of our congregational time together. So if you remember that, there are again 2 parts, a higher voice part and a lower voice part, and they kind of go together. So Randall, are we going to do it the same way again, low part, high part, and then together? Or Okay. Okay, please stand as you are willing and able. And with gusto. We extinguish this chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, or the energy of action, or the Friends, I just invite you to look around in joy and in delight at all of the people who share your commitment to democracy, to mercy, to love, to justice, to asking the questions which have no answer, and the questions which call us forth to be the ones we've been waiting for and to be the light in the world. You are a blessing on each other. You are a blessing on me, and you are a blessing on this valley. Go forth and be that which you know is possible in the world as we create together a world that is rich in mercy, flowing with justice, and whose cup of love is never, ever empty. Amen. Blessed be. Please be seated for the postlude.